Howdy lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Wagwa Crafting, where we learn, grow and craft together. In today's session we are going to make a tag, and I still feel like that butterfly, so that is what we're going to do. We're going to use some butterflies. Now the stamp set that I'm using, or the stamps that I used, is from Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous. I've used the Perspective stamp set as well as the Specimen stamp set, and it's really big butterflies that I've used. Do I have a plan for the background yet? No. All I know is I want to work a little bit with the distress crayons or watercolor crayons or pencils, and we're going to then obviously work with water, but we need to color that first so that it can still dry, and we can then work on the background. Will be a bit of mixed media, but I surely don't have a plan as of this moment. So without further ado, let's get started. So I've got some cardstock with the stamps on it. Yes, they are facing each other, but it's not an issue. The idea is to cut it out. When I stamped this one, I sadly lifted it. You can see there's an extra imprint there. It's not a complete train slash. We can still salvage this, especially if you only use a part of this on something, or you do a stamping on top. This is Specimen and this is Perspective. Right, so I've got my watercolor pencils here. They are practically still brand new. Just going to move this a little bit out of the way. Let's start with these ones. Now I feel like jades, aquas, that type of color. So let's see what we come up with. Some blues, turquoise. I think it will call for a bit of purple maybe in the background, pink, I don't know, we'll see. I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe that color. We will see, we will see. I'll start with this one at the bottom. So first I'm just going to color. Remember, butterfly symmetric. So coloring for now, just like you would with normal color pencils. This really glides on very easily. And of course, as always, there are many videos, even from Tim himself, on how these are intended to be used. Now, I won't be coloring all four of them on camera. I'll do some of it off camera. I just need to do that little dot as well. And maybe a little bit there. Now, you don't have to color right to the edge of these ones. We're going to include some water, so it will spread a little bit more. So the finer details can really be left as you will be filling that in where the water is running. So maybe a little bit of blue here. And I am definitely not using watercolor paper here, so I will have to be very careful when I add the water so that it is not so wet. This almost makes me think of a periwinkle blue. Don't even know the color. What is the shaded lilac? So it is purple. Just want to do more or less the same on both sides. I feel like there needs a bit of lime green here, just to liven up this little butterfly. And I think I am out of view for you here at the bottom. A bit of that lilac, then maybe a bit of pink. So this one will be picked raspberry. Oh, there's again a city in the street outside, riffing the car, spinning wheels, and so many children are playing outside because it's so hot during the day. Where I live, I need a bit there. I skipped a bit there, and maybe if I adjust the light, it will be easier to see for everybody. Wow, there's some light on the subject. Isn't that just awesome? Little pink at the bottom, just because we can. We're going to cut this out, so if it runs a little bit, it's not an issue. But we need to just be careful when adding the water, as this will be, I'll take fossilized amber for the little body. And maybe there. I will not remember where every part of this is going in, I mean, without the pencils. So I will probably not put it back in its correct sets. Except for the big raspberry, I know that was here. But the rest, not so much. Not so much. So it will probably be where it is. I have no idea. I will have to research. Then I'm going to go ahead and color this one. And for that, I want some pinks and purples. So let's put this back. I think that one was there. So that's the darker colors. I would not know what comes where. I know this one was there. So that might be there, right? Oh, wrong. So a bit of pink. There must be a darker purple, which is this one. Villainous Potion. And let's do picked raspberry as well. So let's start with this one. Maybe not such an intense color. Need it. I feel like this should be a bit darker, going lighter to the outside. Again, always use a bit of what? Not such a dark brown. Maybe vintage photo for this little body. That's Seedless Preserves, but it looks so dark. Villainous Potion. Remember, this is the one that I messed up. In case I want to use this, I will color those two, just for in case. Doesn't look like that, but let's just color it that way. What the tag will look like, I still don't know. I can't say. I have no idea. Oops. So it's not working out there. Sad, sad, sad. Let's do a bit of this darker purple again. And we'll have to do it there as well. Not the right order though. Now let the magic begin. I'm going to use water with a water brush or a normal paintbrush, and just going to run that across. So let's see the magic. Just using a normal paintbrush, like I said, dip it in some water, and let's see the magic. Remember where I said we don't have to color it so perfectly well? Now you know why. Because this reacts with water. You go over the lines, not a problem. You will be cutting this out, and it will give you that beautiful water paint effect. And we only just colored it. And I never colored these ends, so let's pick up a little bit of paint there and just put it at the edge. So if you skipped areas, you can easily now just fill in those parts as the color is reacting with water. Absolutely magic. Remember, the Distress range was specifically made to react with water. So there we have that one. Now the pink and purple one, where I got confused with the colors. I'll just turn it this way. First do the lighter colors, and then go to the darker parts, just so that it's easier to keep the colors the same. Look how that is just coming alive. It's just becomes so brilliant. It now truly looks like the raspberry. Even though I messed it up, it's still looking quite good. Now there's a bit of the black that I did not color, so I will just drag some of that pigment into there. It smooths it out completely, and no worries if you did not color all the bits. Is just looking too gorgeous. Just want to put a bit of pigment at the bottom. And there we have it. This can now dry a little bitty. The paper is slightly warped. There I use more water than this side, but it's still beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I just want to add a bit of water here because this is a bit stripy. Yes, I know. Watercolor should be stripy. It's got that effect. It runs where it wants to. I really like this. I should use it a little bit more often. Don't use it too often. I think this is my second time, third time maybe, to use it only. So now to get this fuzzy cut, I'll just fuzzy cut the one. I think we will go with that one. So each person fuzzy cut their own way. I am going to just cut off the little antenna, so I will be drawing that in with a pen afterwards, as I don't want the white around this. No white border. And I am moving, as you can see, my paper, or in this case the cardstock, rather than my scissors. And even this moment I still don't know what shape the tag will take on, but I guess the colors are now determined by the color of the butterfly. There we go. I want that to dry a little bit, and then we will start with the actual tag. When I start with mixed media projects, I hardly ever have a set goal in mind. I might decide on a color scheme or a theme, such as butterfly, or in this case pink and purple butterflies. But that's how far it goes. Now here I've got some gesso, and I'm just going to add this to this tag with my finger. I don't mind getting my fingers all messy. That's part of the fun. Could I have used a paintbrush? Yes, I could have. But then I would have taken the fun out of this. I just want to change the color of this one, this tag completely. And I've got a lot of gesso now on my cutting mat, which I will have to get off real soon. Gesso is really difficult for me to get off once it is dry. So it would have been better if I had protected my work surface a little bit, maybe with a packaging material that I normally keep. There's still some of the beige showing, because this is a 4x8 manila tag. I'm making a real mess now, but that's all part of the fun. So there's that. I'm just going to pop that down, lift this up, closing the top, and then I just need to get this sorted. Gesso is a heavy-based gesso. I use that frequently in my projects. Let's just clean this quickly. So the gesso is kind of dry. You can see some thicker parts where there's a lot of coverage, and then the beigeness still coming through there. I want to try something. I'm going to use a raspberry Distress Oxide ink. Going to add that. Maybe we will use some Seedless Preserves as well, because it's purple. I'm going to add some. It should go on really well with the gesso on top. Going to just, there you can see the coloration of it with gesso underneath. Maybe connect that a little bit. Thinking of doing the water technique, splashing water on. Right, that should do the trick. Then I want to just get a bit of Seedless Preserves as well. So a bit of Seedless Preserves, just dabbing the dome in there, just to intensify the pink. And maybe a little bit over here. I see where I touch it, I actually am taking the colour off of my fingers. But it's fine, we can fix that quickly. It's not a problem. There we go. And then a bit of Villainous Potion, also in Distress Oxide Ink. And yes, I am pouring it over the other colours. Now, for the magic to happen, just move that out of the way. Bring blending tools out of the way. We will use that in a little bit again. Now, water. A bit of water. A few drops of water. I'm using a dropper. You can spray it on if you want to. That one is make bubbles. Look at that. That's cute. On the purple. Splash a little bit here and there. This is buckled, so it's running. And see how it is actually. Just splashing a little bit on. There where we want specific drops. I will just have the smaller ones. Right. Look at that little splash that it made there. Now before it runs, right, just rub that. Then it's water reactive. I'll just clean the surface quickly while I am wiping away here. There we go. That's how easy it is to clean this. Now this can just dry for a second, and then I'm going to add some texture paste. Now remember, when you use texture paste, it needs to be cleaned immediately. I just cannot decide what I want to use. Let's do some blocks. Flowers. Maybe that. I don't know yet. We will see in a moment or so. Right, I've got a few stencils here. I just want to bend this flat, just for myself. Paper has got no memory, you can flatten it out. Sort of. That was just amazing. Now, I don't ever take too much and put the extras back in. Tom also says he doesn't do that. Now, let me just get this. I want to add flowers. Let's turn this over. I will be using some packaging material just to protect my work surface. Alternate over there was some yellow over there, antique linen. So I'm just going to take some texture paste from the container. This is texture paste opaque. Not too thick, but at least need to get some in there. Going to lift this. We have that there, so I'm going to just turn this over and add a little bit at the bottom. Now I'm going to just add a little bit more. Yes, I did leave my tab open, which is not advisable. I just want to add a tiny bit of these little blocks. Maybe this is. Going to put that in there, just a tiny little bit. And then just clean stencil and the little spatula. It is important to get your stencils clean before the texture paste dries. Once it's dried, it's almost impossible to get it off, if not impossible. So, going to add a few little background stenciling things. Let's use this. I like the plus signs. I'll do that on the pink with purple. Don't want to cover, I said on the purple with pink, so we will change that, but let's see if that works. Faintly visible, but it's there. just want to fit it in. Another one there. Just interest, that's all. You have layering. It just gives your project so much more interest, and it means that it's visually pleasing in the end. So this needs to come up somewhere here, maybe like so. Right. And a bit of polka dots. How can I not have polka dots on here? That's almost unfathomable. Right, now I want to try something. I've got some pigment powder from TCW, Ken Oliver, and it's called Hysteria. Now I want to first, there's going to be, let's see, maybe I'm messing this up now. And this really goes a long way. Such fine pigment powder. Going to use this brush and just get some of that there. And guide this in. Yes, it's making bubbles now. Just aiming to get it onto the flower part. And then we have this at the bottom as well. So basically just the raised areas with the texture paste. And just the flower part, not the blocks. I would want that to stay as white as possible. This poor brush. The bristles are being abused here. Running it back and forth. Let's see. There's a bird still white. I like that. That's just a darker version of, I need that purple tag of mine that I used to mop up some fruit yesterday, and I'm just going to spray this just so that it's wet. It's all purple, but I'm just going to see what it does with the, see, it just goes on easily and gives that tiny little bit of a reddish purple color. I like this a lot. Let's close this a bit like the white, and I like this. Now I'm going to put a bit of color shift folk art acrylic paint on here. It is the color Purple Flash, straight out of the bottle cap. Yes, we still have a bit of that pigment powder color on here. Maybe a little bit on top there as well. And I'll just close that one bit of stenciling that I've added there. Just realized that, but it's fine. You can see the finger strokes of the gesso. And maybe a bit, oops, I almost dropped. I'm going to use Villainous Potion to just color this in the edges, in other words. While that paint is still drying, I'm going to just ink the edges. And it should show up on the pink. Oops, got a bit of paint on my thumb now. Pushed it right into that white paint still. Right. I feel that the butterfly needs a bit of gold. So I'm going to just grab a gold pin to write with. While we wait for the tag to actually dry, the paint is still a bit wet, we will just look at this little butterfly that really truly looks as if it needs some gold. Let's see if this will work. Maybe just put a bit of gold on the edge. Have you ever seen a gold butterfly in your whole life? If not, you see it now for the first time. Let's see. Maybe just here and there a bit of gold. We don't want to overpower the poor butterfly now. Instead of pink, we can add some gold there. We did the sides so we can maybe hide the fact that I've lifted up the stamp while I was still stamping. Yeah, that's exactly what I did. And then maybe draw a line there, and there. Just a bit of gold. Not too much, just a little bit. Let's see. Jump in, maybe for the finer lines at the bottom. Let's see. Right. Now I want to do something totally unconventional. I want to take a little bit of glitter nail polish and just add it there. Just because we can. And just because it's here from another project. My African Safari journal, I had added some glitter nail polish to the paper beads. Maybe another one there. Don't want to overdo it now. Can you actually ever overdo it with glitter? So that can now dry a little bit. And then I want to just work on the background still. Let's see, this should be dry now, but this still needs some drying time. Won't take too long, because I didn't put a too thick layer on there. This should be fine. Have that color change. That is amazing. Now we need a stamp that we can add to this and just break the pink and purple. Distress ink archival. Let's do that. And then I must just get stamp block. Yes, I'm going to stamp in black. I think we can just cut that out. There we have it. Lovely. Half knife ruler, and then quickly just close that for a moment. Then I want the same sort of distance from there. I think a bit closer. Pink or purple or black? What will I use? Let's see. Black Soot. Just inking the edges with Black Soot. Yes, I am going a little bit further in, not just the end. I am actually smearing a bit of that ink onto the sides as well. Don't want it too perfect. Now, hopefully that is dry already. Let's see before we carry on. It's still a bit sticky, but if I'm careful enough, we can complete this. Now, let's see. This should go somewhere there, maybe like so. But I want to add some cinnamon. Cinnamon is a textile that they use. Just a piece like that. You can hear how hard this is. It is quite stiff. It's almost like a netting. Let's cut that corner also, just because we can. Now, this will going to use some Distress Watercolor Medium as the glue. This will need some time to dry as well, which is maybe a good thing, because just press it down with a pin, it dries clear. Hence, that's my choice of adhesive. Just want to press it down with a pin on top. This will go there. The story. Now we're not finished here yet. We need a little bit of something there. I'm going to color some string. These are just cut-offs from another project that is lying on my desk, and it will just end up in the dustbin. So just running my ink blending tool over it just to color it a bit. And then there's one last piece here. I'll do the same. Maybe you cannot see what I'm doing. Just push it in a bit at the ends of that. Turn it a little bit around. Yes, it would have been better if I could add water to this, but I don't have time for this to dry now. I just want to add a bit more color here. There we have that. Awesome. I think that worked out perfectly well. In one of my previous videos under tips and tricks, I show how you can change the color of paper flowers, and even do that with textile flowers. Ribbon, lace, string, any of those things can be used. I'm just going to bundle this up some way. And then I'm going to add, let me just see where I want this. Move this there. I'm just going to add, that's not gluing now. That is not gluing. I'm just going to put my water container on there for a moment. And I'm definitely going to add some, oops, maybe not this side. Just wipe that off. Just add it to the middle. Because I want to still maybe have this hem off one side. We will see. Don't have much space now to have that hem off. Just going to move that up a little bit so that it's more visible. Right. Now let's just add some collage medium here from that side, and a bit here while that is still gluing down. Now that we know where the string is showing and not showing. That is working better because it's so hard it actually lifts up, so it's defeating the objective. Let's just wait a second or so for this to dry. I think that's dry enough now. Not wanting to touch there, it's still a bit sticky, but it's giving that beautiful shimmer. I don't know if you can really see it in the light, but it's giving that beautiful shine there. Now just going to add this, and some of it will have to hem off because it is quite a wide stamp. Again, it will be difficult because we don't want that to be flat, so we'll be curling that a bit. Let's add that there as well. I'm going to turn this over just so that I can draw the antenna of the butterfly. Just close the collage medium, otherwise the nozzle will be clogged again. Kind of like that. Now, just a bit of white splatter, so I'm getting a paintbrush and my white paintwash or splash. Using an old paintbrush, just going to splatter some fine fine little pieces, splatters, I mean to say pieces, listen to me. And maybe some. There we go. That can work perfectly well. So there we have our tag with some white splattering on it, the varnish, nail polish, I mean to say. Some ribbon, or not ribbon, thread that's colored. Added the antenna, some texture paste. We have some color burst powder and different paint. The white splatters, the purple color, flush, which is a color shift color. The Oxide Inks, and some archival ink with that title. Hope you enjoyed today's session. Thank you for joining me. If you go try this for yourself, please tag Wawa Crafting on social media. If you want to see more content like this, please give me a thumbs up. And as always, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel too. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload new content. See you back soon. Goodbye.